All right, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders here for a little bit. Look, every offseason, every team tries to upgrade their roster by adding great players on both sides of the ball through free agency and the draft. And the Raiders, for the most part, have done a pretty good job of that. But it's more than just adding more talented players. You have to make smart moves with them to put them in positions to be successful. And that's exactly what we're seeing with the Raiders doing. Their coaching staff is doing a great job with one new playmaker in particular. Let's get into the report and then we'll talk about it more in detail. On the other side, this is courtesy of Sporting News. It has not taken first-round draft pick Brock Bowers long to flash the versatility and athletic ability that made him the most dynamic tight end in college football over the past 3 seasons. It's been a Where's Waldo situation trying to locate the former Georgia star when the Raiders offense lines up. He's been used out wide, in the slot, with the offensive line at the line of scrimmage, at H-back, so offset in the backfield a little bit, and even in the backfield directly. In terms of usage, he's been targeted as a downfield receiver up the seam, on screens, on crossing patterns, and across the middle. He's also been used as a runner on fly sweeps. He did that a lot for the Georgia Bulldogs. Good to see the Raiders are doing that as well. Along with fellow tight end Michael Mayer, who possesses similar versatility, Bowers gives the Raiders a multi-layered weapon. Expect both to be prominently featured in the offense attack. A lot of tight end rooms, you might not be spending time on certain routes in the passing game because you might not have the guys with the skill set to go execute certain routes in our route tree. Raiders tight end Luke Steckel said, but he's certainly a guy, and he's definitely not the only one in a room that you can line up in the slot, and you can line him up out wide, and you can use him in a variety of ways. All right, I think this is a really smart move by the Raiders. Obviously, Brock Bowers isn't just a tight end, he's a weapon, and they're treating him as such. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Raiders fans, in the comment section below, of all of the great history of the Raiders, and it's been a long one, who is your favorite, your just big time fan favorite offensive playmaker in Raiders history? I think there's a certain wide receiver who went to Notre Dame who may be at the top of the list, but there's a lot of great options as well. Curious what you guys have to say. Give us your favorite Raiders playmaker in history and put it in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this smart move by the Raiders and how they're treating Brock Bowers?
Yeah, Nate, I think this is great for the Raiders because, like we've said, I think we've talked about this numerous times. The Raiders, they had a lot of great weapons on this offense. Now, some guys have moved around, and I still think they're very good. But I think with the addition of Brock Bowers, it kind of gives them the spark to do things that they need to do on offense. As we look at Michael Mayer, and I think Michael Mayer is a fantastic player. I think he's going to be a great blocker. I think he can do a lot of things that a great tight end can do. But last season, he only had 300 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. He wasn't really, it's either a lack of utilization or it's just not exactly the build of player that he is. He's an incredible blocker. We did a lot of breakdowns of Michael Mayer absolutely demolishing people in the blocking game last year if you want to go check those out. But Michael Mayer, as an offensive weapon, didn't really start to shine till the end of the season last year when he had a couple big games. I think Brock Bowers adds that new addition where we're seeing, I think we've said this all the time. We're talking about the new meta, of the NFL. On defense, it's hybrid players, it's safeties that can play like linebackers, it's edge rushers who can drop back in coverage. You've got, linebackers who are versatile as well. You want everybody to do a little bit of something else. No one specializes in just one thing anymore. When you look at your tight end, when you have a guy, they can go be a H-back, take a handoff on speed sweep or something crazy like that out of the backfield, go out wide, play in the slot, or just be a regular old tight end. It really opens the offense, and I think we've seen that time and time again. And we knew Brock Bowers would do this. We've seen him do it in college. He was elite at this in college. But now we're seeing that the Raiders are actually game planning to do this kind of stuff in their OTAs and their practices. So this is what I would say to Raiders fans. Some people were hesitant or skeptical. They thought the pick could be used better elsewhere than the pick on Brock Bowers. What I'm seeing from this so far is the Raiders picked Brock Bowers. They had a plan to utilize him, and it looks like they're executing on it. So this is a fantastic pickup for the Raiders, and I'd be excited about this offense.
Yeah, I agree 100% because it would have been a cause for concern if we had been hearing through OTAs that the Raiders were using him as a standard tight end, right? Because I know he's a tight end by position title, but he's not. He's an offensive playmaker. He's a positionless player, right? Like you were kind of alluding to. And that's how you can really unlock and push offenses to another level, especially as you're trying to figure out the quarterback position. look, everyone wants to talk about the greatness of the Kansas City Chiefs and what they've done offensively, and they've been absolutely spectacular, of course. But I really like what the 49ers have managed to do with Brock Purdy. And I know Brock Purdy's a lot of people have different opinions on him, but I think honestly, anyone on it will tell you he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Doesn't mean he's terrible, he's just not top 10. What they're able to do in San Francisco, which is so crazy, is they have so many guys that are positionless players that are offensive weapons. Deebo Samuel, he's a running back. He's a slot receiver. He can go out wide. How about Christian McCaffrey? He's a running back. He can line up split back. He can line up in the slot. He can line up out wide. He can go in motion. George Kittle, fullback, H-back, tight end. He can line up in the slot. He can go in motion, right? That's how the 49ers are so tough to defend, is that they basically have a bunch of great playmakers that can line up all over the field. Defenses don't know how to react. They have to play slow in order to recognize what's going on in front of them. When you have athletes on offense, you can then leverage that to a lot of success. And that's what the Raiders will be able to do. And I think Brock Bowers is going to be the guy to unlock this offense. We're going to see Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. We're going to see this running game led by Zamir White. We're going to see Michael Mayer in a lot of respects too. Suddenly they're going to generate more big plays just because Brock Bowers is just the guy that can just unlock everything they do. I look back to the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams from 1999 to about 2001. Everyone talked about Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner was the MVP, but Marshall Faulk was the guy that unleashed that entire offense because he could line up at any position, running back, split back, wide receiver, slot receiver, and run an entire skill set, screens, sweep sweeps, route trees, ordinary runs. He could do it all. And just defenses did not know how to handle it, right? It just completely blew everything up. And I think that's what Brock Bowers will be for this Raiders offense. And I love what you said there too, is that the Raiders surprised some people when they took Bowers, but it's clear they had a plan in mind. It's the smart plan. And I'm really excited to see what Getsy and company continues to use Brock Bowers for going forward. I think this offense is going to take a major, massively unrecognizable in 2023, 2024, excuse me.